It's sitting on that first bookcase there. You can kind of see it flying over the lake there. This is my interpretation of a blue heron. He's offered glimpses, but today he stands in all his glory. Steely blue, a tinge of silver, rather like a knife. The pond's reflection sharp and clear, but also strange. That neck, a twisted metal plumber's snake, more suited to a sink. Those thin gray pipes called legs, attached by tiny nuts that mock a heavy plumage. Last, the tuft that ropes atop his head, a quirky ornament. An odd array of parts, this bird, now seen away from camouflage of trees, the tint of grayish bark he blends with well, as when pond waters ripple and reflections skew the thing we think we know, now shown anew. One-point perspective, and there are several photos in here that, I don't know where they are, maybe around the corner here. There's one up there, the sepia-colored one, where you see the perspective of the trees, and that's what this one's coming from. One-point perspective. The cypress trees down Simond Avenue were planted with precision. Rows of poles at equidistant intervals, in queue both left and right of sidewalks that extol perspective rarely found in nature. But in order you adore. The classic plane of horizontal lines, angles clear-cut, this need for logic, symmetry, left brain arrangement. Why so strong? Is not your own life rough and tumble, undefined and short on resolution, never straight, but prone to vanish at horizons? Why distort the random ways of trees? Why not admit that all's not linear or definite? Watching the coots. We are. I know that is exactly what is running through your heads right now. No, I refer to those cool birds, the real coots. Not me and not my husband, but that sigh, that is me. Though I hadn't intended for you to hear. The back, the knee can make you moan involuntarily. Indeed, you'll see. That rumble, it's just his stomach. For 14 years he's claimed it's talking back. If this is middle age, we'll both be in our hundreds, threatless coots beyond rebuke for walking hand in hand. For now, two men who watch the white-billed birds slightly apart, our ruffled feathers waiting with one heart. This is probably my least political poem collection. It's the first one I've actually dedicated to my parents because I felt like they wouldn't be embarrassed reading the poems like they would from the other books, but I still get a little edge in now and then. This is the egret sonnet. The egrets are one of my favorite birds to watch over there, and there's almost always at least one or two egrets over there. How radiant this egret. Solid, right as mountain ash. His preening at the falls like a god. Lesser birds would take to flight at my approach, but he stands bright and tall, a mast unflinching. Water glides across the ledge where he is anchored to the rocks, a regal beacon rising out of moss, his gaze as brazen as that ghostly shock of white, accentuated by the sun. Such elegance, this bird so long and lean and singular. For in this dominion, no one can match his light, that glow, that mien. He has earned my praise, for it's neither pride nor sin when reverence is justified. We're hitting the season right now, the poems I'm going to read next. This one's called A Perfect Day. The buds were brown larvae last week, but now they're white as cotton balls. The willow tree, its mess of strands like seaweed set loose, wows with leaves in force this week. A certainty, a thrum of hope, the unaccustomed sprout. Spring is the cult of metaphor. It's there in tiny stars of blue that all but shout among rosemary's spikes. The peach that shares new blossomed scents, the yellow daffodil and early iris, even weeds, those green precursors are welcome in March. What will tomorrow bring that now cannot be seen? What change, what wonders to discover? See that rose about to leave its cave and be. April Fool's Day. We're jumping up to April. There are several photos in here that you will see of the wildflowers, and that's what this poem is mostly about. Well, partly about them, mostly about me.
You're a wildflower.
The path is primrose pink, the bonnets at their bluest. Red and yellow wheels begin their reign of fire. Wisteria droop fat. The skies are fine. I've had my vitamin, my grains, my morning exercise. It's all too perfect. Not too hot, a soothing breeze. I stop. I wait. For surely there's a squall or a storm of hail in store, a surge of bees, a scourge of snakes, a power pole about to topple, that overdue heart attack or stroke, a cloud of nuclear fallout. I listen, I wait. The hypochondriac in me cannot believe a day this good. So I've been made a fool. I knew I would. Easter in Texas. If you've got the book and you're reading along, I'm kind of going directly in chronological order, but I'm skipping some. I'm not going to read the whole book. Just seems like that.
Read the whole book. We don't care. Yeah, go for it.
Easter in Texas. There's little cool these mornings. July temps in April, all too common. High and dry this rainless spring. No moisture, no dew-damp chrysanthemums or lawns. Some sigh and say the wildflowers are the worst in years. But what they mean is that there are no fields of bonnets, no spectacle that allures photographers like blue. The golden folds on prickly pears have never shone so bright. Despite the drought, the prairies filled with spits of red and yellow flare, Mexican hat, plains, daisies, dogweed, Indian blankets. They may be sparse and patchy, but no less lovely, and without rain, miraculous.
Yes.
3 more, and then I'm going to take a break, and we're going to bring Paul up here, and he's going to talk a little bit about his photography, and hopefully he will tell us a little bit about how he did the amazing photograph that is on the cover of this book, which when we started cropping it when we were putting the book together, and we said, oh, the photograph's so cool, and we talked the publisher into stretching it out, and then the publisher liked it so much like that, he said, let's not put anything else on the back. I said, but Jill has volunteered to write a blurb for this. I wanted it on the back. But I said, okay, I'll go with this, and let her off the hook. This is for anyone who's lost somebody. May Day, and this one's for Mary Bacon. This is the day the sunflowers awake, their eager yellow smiles reminding me of you. This is the day a sudden trick of light reveals a simple rosary-sized cross. No Christ in agony, a plain, no-nonsense goodness. Yes, I think of you. This is the day I find a sparrow's wing, a crumpled thing once full of joy like you. And when I reach the lake, 100 star-shaped water lilies crinkle like Van Gogh's majestic skies. It's you that I conjure, that playful look, your eyes, a life outgrows the living, carries on beyond the day. This is the day when some will go, some stay. And I'm only reading this one because several people who've already read the book have commented that they couldn't believe I had the word goosier in a poem. So here it is. Ode to Rain. For rain has left the world a better place. Sunflowers are sunnier, bark on trees is richer, geese are goosier, my pace is peppier. Ah, rain. It helps to ease our record heat, our dry and dusty air, our listless droop. The stifled lake has spilled beyond its shore, which we are glad to share with birds fevered as arpeggios. We're thrilled to walk on soggy paths, to sink in ooze, to puddle jump, to squish and squash with joy, to hear the sucking sounds of mud-struck shoes. A single rain can raise the hoi polloi, if only for a day to break the drought. Our green is greener, better than without. And I think I have one more. Oh yes, this is the one. You see those little ducklings over there on the far? It's another thing that if you walk this park every day, you look for when you see the ducklings, you go and count them every day just to make sure they're all there. Because, somebody's got to worry about them. This one's called Instincts. A dozen ducklings, newly born, with bills the size of paper clips and wings the width of nickels, dash about like errant trills to squeals of gathering delight. A fifth adult and 2 more kids. The crowd expands along the bank. The mother duck stays calm throughout it all. No quacks, nor reprimands at people or her brood. No hint of qualm, even when the puffs of fluff meander close to us, their tiny feet off balance. But I fret, afraid the children will become engrossed, will lift and squeeze a duckling like a pet. I take my leave. Next day, I count the crew, all 12, quite safe, as if the mother knew.